maybe we might be seeing Germany rocket up. Well, they're actually in the top 30, so there's not much rocketing up needing to be done here because they're already in the top 30. And I think we may as well just jump straight into those World Rugby rankings as we speak. Now, guys, obviously on this podcast we go through all the top 30. I will go over the biggest movers and groovers of the week that are outside the 30 as well, but we will go through each individual one. So number 30 is the Germans, the sneaky little Germans. They're coming, the Germans. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. They are in 30. Number 29, Switzerland. Number 28 is Belgium. Brazil in number 27 with Chile as number 26. 25, Namibia with 24 being the Netherlands. 23 is Canada. Number 22, Russia. Number 21, Hong Kong. Number 20 is the Spanish, and they have a game coming up this week. Let's see if they drop off, or let's see if they can jump over the Portuguese, who are in 19th, who do have a game coming up in the next couple of weeks. Actually, are they on this weekend, just quickly?
Ooh, I know that they've got a game coming up against, I want to say it's up against Tonga or someone like that, maybe.
They play Canada this week. They play Canada this week that I've just seen there, yeah. So I think they do play against, they do definitely play against Tonga or someone like that over this course. But anyway, let's stop focusing on the number 19 ranked Portugal and let's get into the number 18 ranked Romania. Number 17 is the United States. The Uruguay, number 16. Number 15 is the Tongans. Don't drop off. And obviously don't jump any. Italy in number 14. Number 13 is Samoa. Number 12 is the Georgians. Number 11, Fiji. Viti. Number 10 is Japan. Number 9 is Wales. They do not drop. They had a chance to go above Argentina, who are in 8th. But they do not do that. So Argentina in 8th, Scotland in 7th, France in 6th, Ireland in 5th, England in 4th, the mighty, mighty Australians in 3rd. And guess what, guys? We do have a change. Ooh, we do have a change, sir. Now, obviously, the Kiwi lads, he is here. He is a Kiwi. And they've gone up first. South Africa have dropped down a second. New Zealand in first. What's your thought on that one, champion?
I feel like that's possibly going to kind of leapfrog each other throughout the next kind of few weeks due to the fact that I believe the Springboks, they have got Wales next, whereas we've got Italy. So more than likely, if they get a big win there, they will just go back up, and then it will kind of be just the case of everyone chopping and changing for the next couple while, the next little while, I should say.
The next couple while, all right.
Yeah, it's a long time by the sounds of it. But Japan also play Portugal in 11 days' time as the other fixture that the Portuguese have got coming up as well.
Well, there you go. Well, I think, like I said last week, I think New Zealand are probably deservedly number 1 ranking right now. I think that, look, obviously, South Africa beat New Zealand one time at the end of the Rugby Championship, but still lost that previous match up to them. It was close, but still lost it. Lost both those games to Australia. I think that New Zealand right now probably are the deserved leaders in the number 1 ranking. The crazy thing is, though, is that it is only 20.23 difference. So New Zealand are 91.36, South Africa are 91.13. That is literally nothing, literally nothing. So I do agree. I think if New Zealand beat Italy and South Africa beat Wales, I still believe South Africa will go above New Zealand, even with New Zealand getting a win, if I'm not mistaken, just because Wales are in 9th. Because the gap is so small, Wales are in 9th, Italy are in 14th. So the points that New Zealand can get won't be that big. And the points from South Africa can get won't be that big, but still greater than New Zealand. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe that will be how it goes. Whereas the next week, when we do get to see Ireland taking on the All Blacks, and then also, I believe, more than likely, I'm just going to quickly fact check this as well. It is going to be the Springboks taking on Scotland as their game.
Okay,
in
so
next little while. So,
but see, that's the thing. Like Springboks playing another lower ranked team, Scotland are in 7th. Depending on if the thing is though, if Scotland can beat Australia this week, then they would probably jump France. Maybe they're still. I'd probably say they jump France. I don't think they would jump. No, they wouldn't be jumping Ireland, but they would jump France. I would assume they're about they're still 1.8 behind France. It's a big jump. But Australia are top 3 though. So look, it's a bit of a mess. But just before we do kind of get into what we're talking about today, guys, let's go through the biggest rises, the biggest falls, the biggest movers and groovers section. The biggest rises this week are Bosnia and Herzegovina. They went from 87 to 82 after their victory. We saw obviously the New Zealanders go from 2 to number 1. We saw Uganda go from 51 to 50, Sweden from 52 to 51, and Trinidad and Tobago maybe from 53 to 52. Is that Trinidad and Tobago?
I assume so.
It is. It's Trinidad and Tobago. Sorry, it says on the biggest climates here, TTO. So I was assuming it's Trinidad and Tobago. And then I've gone down and it says Trinidad and Tobago on the actual rankings. So, there we go. Lithuania drops down there. So they're actually also on that dropped list of 50 through to 53 after they lost to Germany, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Unfortunately for them, just didn't quite go their way.
Mate, you were the results, man. You need to know this stuff, You need to know
46-16 was the result of that one.
Gee whiz, I'm the World Rugby Rankings dude. You're the World Buddy latest results, dude. You need to quit. You need to be like, yep, exactly right. This is exactly how much they lost by. But no, Lithuania drop off 3 spots there. Andorra go from 73 down to 78. Who did Andorra lose to?
Well, they lost to Bosnia-Herzegovina, which is pretty harsh because of the fact it was only by 1 point since it was 19-18. There we go. Now we've got it.
Mate, see, there we go. See, the results, man. He's doing the resulting. Now, obviously, South Africa, they went from number 1 to number 2. Who did they lose to?
Well, South Africa did not lose, but they're going to have a good tour, hopefully, for South Africa. Play a few of those younger players as well, mix it up a little bit.
Wasn't the question, though. PNG went from 82 to 83, and India went from 83 to 84. They actually were on the rising list a couple of weeks ago, and now they're on the falling list. But overall, man, what do you see potentially, we shouldn't talk about what we see potentially change this week because there's a lot of games. Actually, literally, everyone's playing this week. New Zealand's playing, South Africa's playing, Australia's playing, England's playing. I don't believe Ireland's
Fiji.
playing.
Yep,
Fiji's
Ireland playing Japan.
Ireland are playing Japan.
Match.
So Wales are playing Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone's playing.
Wales playing Springboks, and then it is going to be France versus Argentina.
Yeah, and then Scotland versus Australia and Ireland versus Japan. So literally the entire top 11 are playing this week. So, gee whiz, we could see boom, 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 boom. It's going to be, buddy, it's going to be insane. It's going to be absolutely insane. But do you have anything else to say about the World Rugby Rankings?
Just that I think we can expect that any position kind of change that we've had over the next 1 or 2 weeks may not be the case at the end of the tour. It is more just the case of whoever you're playing kind of affects who you are going to be kind of ranking just a little bit above perhaps throughout this stage. Pretty much what I'm saying is don't get too comfortable with New Zealand being in first at this stage due to the fact that the Springboks more than likely will just take it back.
Do you know what's crazy? Week. I'll tell you something that's crazy here. And I want you to tell me whether I'm a lunatic or I'm not a lunatic.
I can tell you that before the question.
Well, let's wait until after the question first, and then we can talk. We can reason. But right now, England is in 4th position on 85.44. Mm-hmm. South Africa is on 91.13, and New Zealand is on 91.36. You got the Australians there on 87.51. Now, it's a good question coming up here, son. So that means that they're 2 points above England and they're 3.5 points behind South Africa and New Zealand. Let's safely assume, because if New Zealand had lost to Wales, I believe they probably would have dropped below Australia. Would I not be mistaken?
I think it still would have been maybe that they'd still be somewhere there due to the fact that I think it would have been because Australia had to do it in about 3 parts, didn't they, to get up to that 3rd place. From their 7th.
No, it was just the 2 beating South Africa twice.
So then you've got New Zealand would have been 2nd at the time. So I don't think it would have I think it would have been very close. You'd probably be less than a point between New Zealand and Australia.
New Zealand would have lost if New Zealand had lost to Wales, is what I'm saying. So they've only gone up, they haven't gone up many points. So Wales is in 9th. That's a huge drop-off.
Home game as well, though, is the other...
Home game as well, but that's a huge drop-off. That's like, for example, I don't know how Australia we must have gotten a few points in beating Japan in Japan. I know it's in Japan, but in the same sense, Japan is down there in number 10. So if we're getting that many points of beating Japan, then I'm just throwing it out there, And another thing as well is that I believe that anyone in the top 4 could actually see themselves. Oh, I don't think England could. I think they're still 6 points behind. I don't think England could by the end of this international Northern Hemisphere tour. I don't think they could see themselves on top. But literally anyone in that top 3 could probably end up on top, depending on, obviously, results.
Because England, they've got Australia and Springboks as their 2 big games.
So they would need to win both those comfortably as well.
Comfortably, because they're at home as well. They've also got Tonga, so they can't afford to lose that one.
If they lose to Tonga, mate, they're going to drop below Buddy Scotland. They're going to go to like ranking number. They'll drop below Tonga into 16th. But let's move on. That is the World Rugby Ranking update. That's just obviously kind of throwing it out there to you guys and giving you the thought process that it is genuinely possible that Australia, South Africa, and New Zealand could be on top by the end of this Northern Hemisphere tour. And you could even technically argue for England. I wouldn't say Ireland. So, yeah, there is definitely a lot that could be changing there. Now, the first bit of latest news that we should